The story begins with a voice echoing from the shadows of the past. Years ago, a digital phenomenon gripped the world, a game known as the Tower of Trials. It wasn't just a game. It was a total immersion into a virtual reality so advanced that the sensations were indistinguishable from the real world. If you bled in the game, you felt the sting. If you fell, you felt the bone-crushing impact. Initially, the world was captivated by the thrill. But as time passed, the dark reality of the tower set in. The difficulty curve wasn't just steep, it was sadistic. Some floors were frozen wastelands where the air itself could shatter your lungs, while others were infernos that no ordinary human could endure. One by one, players gave up. The world moved on, leaving the tower to gather digital dust. But one man never left. That voice belongs to our protagonist, Jin. For 11 grueling years, Jin has lived a double life. While others were building careers and families, he was dying and respawning, trapped in a cycle of endless struggle. Today, after a decade of failure, he has finally conquered the 50th floor. Yet, as the victory screen glows in his dark room, there is no celebration. Jin looks at his reflection and sees a man who has wasted his youth on a ghost game. He decides that today is the day he finally walks away. Suddenly, a system chime breaks the silence. Congratulations, you are the first person to clear the 50th floor. The system announces that because of his achievement, a global update is being triggered, a transformation that will go live in 12 hours. Jin scoffs, thinking it's a useless feature for a dead game. He has bigger problems. In the real world, he is broke. His parents passed away years ago, and his part-time job can barely cover the rent for his cramped apartment or his internet bill. The cruelest part of the tower was its rewards. Jin was a king inside the game, possessing legendary treasures, but he couldn't bring a single cent of that wealth into reality. To survive, he resorts to mukbang live streams, saving money for days just to buy a single feast that he eats in front of a camera for the entertainment of strangers. Exhausted and defeated, Jin collapses into a restless sleep. But when he wakes up, the world he knew is gone. He turns on the news to see chaos. A gargantuan spire has physically manifested in the center of the city. The Tower of Trials has broken out of the digital realm and into reality. Before he can wrap his head around the impossibility of it, a holographic window appears before his eyes. Update complete. Welcome to the new world. The message isn't just for him. Every human on Earth, from the youngest child to the oldest man, receives a terrifying ultimatum. Clear the first floor within 90 days, or face total elimination. Panic strikes like a lightning bolt. The city turns into a war zone of desperate people trying to flee. The train stations are overflowing with terrified citizens trying to escape the shadow of the spire. But amidst the sea of people running for their lives, Jin is the only one moving toward the danger. He grabs his jacket and sprints down the stairs, his heart racing. The 11 years of wasted life weren't a mistake, they were training. As the world screams in terror, the only man who knows how to survive has just started his real climb. Jin arrives at a heavy basement entrance near the tower's base. As he descends the concrete stairs, his mind is racing. If the tower has materialized in the physical world, the rules have changed forever. He remembers the phantom pains of the VR world, the way a blade felt just as sharp in the game as it would in reality. If the system promised universal punishment, it wasn't a bluff. It was a death sentence. He reaches the bottom, expecting to be alone, but the basement is already crowded. These aren't random civilians. They are the old guard, the veteran players who played the game during its early, popular days. They stand in the shadows, eyeing each other with suspicion and fear. Suddenly, a man approaches Jin with a slimy, knowing grin. Well, if it isn't Jin Woo, the legendary lone climber who stayed until the very end, I recognize you from your streams. The man introduces himself as a recruiter from the Comet Union. Join us, Jin. We're a powerful organization. Sign a contract with us, and we'll give you protection and resources you can't get anywhere else. We're pros, just like you. Jin looks at him with pure disgust. He knows exactly who these people are. The Comet Union is a predator organization known for slave contracts. They scouted independent streamers, trapped them in legal nightmares, and drained their earnings until they were forced to quit. The recruiter continues to smile, oblivious to Jin's rage. So, what do you say, friends? Jin doesn't answer with words. In a flash of movement, he slams his forehead into the recruiter's face. The sickening crack of teeth breaking echoes through the basement. As the man stumbles back, clutching his bleeding mouth, Jin coldly remarks, "Do I look like a child you can bribe with a lollipop? Get lost." Before the man can retaliate, the ground begins to heave. In the center of the room, a sapling erupts through the concrete, growing at an impossible speed. Within seconds, it transforms into a massive, gnarled tree with glowing veins. The veterans gasp. This is the Tree of Trials, the very first challenge from the game's beta phase. High on its branches, 4 shimmering fruits hang like jewels. Jin's eyes narrow. He knows those fruits. They are the essence of vitality. Consuming just one triples your strength, agility, and speed permanently. But there are dozens of desperate people in this room and only 4 fruits. The crowd loses its mind. Men scream and shove each other, trampling over anyone in their way to reach the trunk. "Move! That power is mine!" one shouts, kicking a rival in the chest. The toothless recruiter snarls at Jin. "Because of you, we missed our chance. Look, they're going to take them all." Jin remains unnerved. "Shut up and watch." One man manages to scramble up the branches and plucks a fruit, devouring it instantly. His muscles bulge, and a golden aura flares around him. The crowd roars in envy, but their greed is short-lived. The tree suddenly shudders. Its roots explode out of the ground like whip-like tentacles, lashing out at everyone nearby. The man who ate the fruit is grabbed mid-air and slammed against the wall. The basement turns into a slaughterhouse as the tree turns predatory. The veterans scramble for the exit, terrified. It's a trap. The tree is alive. As the recruiter tries to flee, Jin stands his ground, watching the tree's attack patterns. "Leaving so soon?" Jin asks mockingly. "I thought you were a pro." The recruiter trembles, looking at the carnage. "Are you insane? We'll be killed." Jin glances at the remaining fruits. "I have a plan. If you follow my lead, we walk out of here with the prize." The recruiter pauses. He realizes Jin hasn't moved because he was waiting for this exact moment. He was waiting for the tree to reveal its true nature. You knew this would happen? Fine. Tell me what to do." Jin points toward the swaying, deadly branches. "We strike together. One of us has to be the bait to distract it, while the other goes for the kill. Are you in?" The plan is set. The strategy is simple. One distracts the beast, and the other secures the fruit. Then, they split the prize. The recruiter nods, but Jin stares him down with ice-cold eyes. "If either of us hesitates for even a second, the other dies. Are you ready?" "Don't worry about me," the recruiter sneers. "Just do your job." They lunged forward. The demon tree screeches, its massive branches whipping through the air with lethal precision. Jin leads the charge, weaving through the chaos like a ghost. He moves with a confidence that only 11 years of failure can teach. But as he dances between death, he glances back. The recruiter isn't moving. He's standing safely at the edge of the room, wearing a twisted grin. "You garbage climber," he screams. "Did you really think I'd risk my life for you? Go ahead. Die for me." Jin doesn't panic. In fact, he smiles. "The plan is working exactly as I expected," he mutters. Jin executes a sudden, sharp maneuver. He doesn't move away from the tree. He draws its fury toward the coward. The demon tree's tentacles, sensing a stationary target, pivot instantly. Before the recruiter can even scream, a massive root wraps around his waist, hoisting him into the air. "Jin, help me, please," the man wails as the tree begins to crush the life out of him. Jin doesn't look back. He ignores the pleas of the man who tried to betray him. A moment later, a sickening crunch echoes through the basement. The recruiter is gone. Jin focuses. He calculates the trajectory of the attacks with mathematical precision, one route at 30 degrees, another at 5. He dodges with an inch to spare, baiting the tree into striking its own trunk. The impact is devastating. The tree's own strength tears through its bark. revealing a glowing, pulsating core, its heart. Jin grabs a jagged piece of wood from the debris. His expression shifts, becoming dark and predatory. He looks at the monster and whispers, "Hey, friend, do me a favor. Die here, and give me your essence." The tree lashes out in a final, desperate rage, but Jin is relentless. He takes several hits, his body bruised and bleeding. But he doesn't stop. He scales the trunk like a demon, lunging forward to drive the wooden stake directly into the glowing heart. With a final, earth-shaking tremor, the demon tree withers and dies. System notification: you have slain the demon tree. First achievement recorded. Jin reaches into the decaying remains of the trunk, searching for something far more valuable than the fruit. He pulls out a small, glowing orb. This is the heart essence. While the fruit triples a person's power, this essence, the concentrated soul of the tree, multiplies it by 12. He stares at the tiny orb. "A bit smaller than I remember," he says, before swallowing it whole. A surge of raw energy explodes through his veins. He opens his status window. Level 1. But his stats tell a different story. His power is now 12 times that of a normal human. The system chimes again. Identity verification required for the global record. Please provide your name. Pioneer. Jin hesitates. In this new world, information is the ultimate weapon. If the system records his name, every government and guild on Earth will hunt him down. Set name to unknown, he commands. Name accepted. Record of the battle has been captured. This footage will be uploaded to YouTube in 10 minutes. Rewards will be issued based on views and subscribers. Your face will be blurred to maintain anonymity. An hour later, the world stops. The video of an anonymous warrior soloing a demon tree goes viral instantly. Millions of views pour in every minute. The comment section is a war zone. Is this fake? Did he hack the reality system? How can a human move like that? While the world obsesses over the mysterious, unknown hero, Jin sits quietly in his room, scrolling through the messages. 2 specific notifications catch his eye. Jin stares at his screen. The offers are pouring in. One message reads, "We will pay you 10 billion won, nearly $100 million to work for us exclusively." Another says, "Name your price. Whatever you want, it's yours, as long as you belong to us." Jin leans back, a cold smirk crossing his face. A few days ago, when he was starving and counting pennies just to buy a single meal for his stream, a fraction of this money would have made him crumble. He would have signed any contract just to survive. But the world has changed, and so has he. "I'm not that desperate streamer anymore," Jin whispers to the empty room. 10 billion, 10 trillion, it doesn't matter. The most powerful asset in this new world isn't money. It's knowledge, and I'm not sharing mine with anyone. Jin knows something the rest of the world is only starting to realize. When the Tower of Trials manifested on Earth, it released a massive wave of high-density mana. This energy reacted with ancient relics and museum pieces, transforming ordinary historical items into legendary, high-quality artifacts. "I need a real weapon," Jin decides, "and I know exactly where to find one." He heads to the National Museum of Korea, the largest in the country. He isn't there for gold or jewels. He's looking for a specific relic, an ancient map of Korea. Now that it has been infused with mana, that map is no longer just paper and ink. It has become a sovereign guide, capable of revealing the first 10 floors of the tower and pinpointing every hidden dungeon and mana well in the country. But when Jin arrives, the silence of the museum is broken by the smell of charred flesh. Near the entrance, he finds a body, or what's left of one. It's been burned to a crisp, clearly the work of an awakener who has already discovered their powers. Jin's eyes harden. So, I'm not the only one who realized the value of the artifacts here. This won't be as easy as I hoped. Inside, the grand hall is a scene of absolute anarchy. Looters are smashing glass cases, fighting like animals over anything that glows. "Everyone stay exactly where you are," a voice thunders. A man wielding a massive sledgehammer stands over a fresh corpse. "If anyone else moves, they end up like him. Do you think your words can stop me? I have a weapon. You have nothing. Get out, or die." Suddenly, another man steps forward, his body shivering with strange energy. "You think a hammer makes you king? His skin begins to gray and harden, his arms transforming into solid, cold iron. I am an awakener. I have the strength of iron. Your little tool won't even scratch me. The crowd gasps in terror, but a calm, elderly voice cuts through the tension. The younger generation is so impatient, a frail old man says, walking into the center of the hall. Why all the violence? Why the greed? We should be helping each other. The iron-armed man laughs. Old man, do you want to be the first to die? I'll snap your neck like a dry twig. Get lost. The old man sighs, his eyes flashing with a dangerous light. I thought you might be reasonable, but you're just a common thug. I suppose I'll have to teach you some manners. With a flick of his finger, the old man ignites a spark of pure magical energy. Before the iron-armed man can even blink, his entire body is engulfed in a pillar of white-hot flame. He doesn't even have time to scream before he is reduced to ash. A young woman steps out from behind the old man. Master Jai, I see my decision to join you was the right one. Your power is truly unmatched. Master Jai doesn't even look back at the ashes. I am heading to the upper floor for the primary artifact. You stay here and handle this. Trash? The girl smiles. She turns to the terrified looters, her voice sweet but deadly. You heard the master. No one goes past this point. If you try to follow him, I'll have to kill you all. What can one girl do? A looter growls, stepping forward. The girl reaches into her bag and pulls out a small, stone figurine. She places it on the ground. Within seconds, the stone groans and expands, transforming into a massive, towering guardian statue. Its eyes glow red as it raises a stone blade, ready to crush anyone who dares to breathe. The massive guardian statue let out a roar that shook the very foundation of the museum. The girl had made her threat clear. Anyone who moved would be slaughtered. But Jin, the man the world now knew as the unknown hero, didn't even flinch. He walked forward casually, picking up a tattered old poster from the floor. You people have no respect for history, Jin said, his voice cold and steady. How can you be so careless with your own heritage? The girl's face twisted with rage. You think this is a joke? She screamed. She gave the command, and the stone guardian lunged at Jin with terrifying speed. The heavy stone blade whistled through the air, aimed directly at Jin's throat. But in a move that defied logic, Jin raised his left hand. With a single, sharp strike, he deflected the massive weapon. The force was so great that the guardian's blade was sent flying, crashing into the ground and shattering the marble floor. The looters watching from the shadows were paralyzed with fear. Is he even human? One whispered. He stopped a 3-ton attack with just his bare hand. He's a monster. Jin felt a surge of confidence. With stats 12 times higher than a normal human, this boss felt like a tutorial level. He looked at the girl and smirked. Is that all? Is your little pet only good for show? Driven by humiliation, the girl reached into her bag and pulled out 5 more figurines. You've irritated me for the last time. Die. She poured her remaining mana into the dolls, and they expanded into 5 distinct, grotesque puppets, each looking more lethal than the last. Jin observed them calmly. He realized this girl was talented. Controlling 5 high-level puppets at once required immense mental focus. However, his real concern was the old man, Master Jai, who possessed the rare and destructive power of fire magic. I suppose it's time I showed you a real trick, Jin said. He tossed the old poster he had been holding into the air and began injecting his own mana into it. The poster depicted a legendary great tiger. As his energy hit the paper, the ink began to glow and swirl. Suddenly, a massive, spectral second-grade beast, a ferocious tiger, leaped out of the paper and landed with a bone-chilling roar. The girl's heart nearly stopped. A second-grade beast? Those are legendary. Who is this guy? How can he summon something so powerful from a simple poster? Jin's tiger moved like a blur of orange and black. With one swift swipe of its claws, it decapitated the first puppet. Within seconds, it tore through the others like they were made of paper. The museum hall was filled with the sound of splintering wood and stone. Finally, only the girl remained. The tiger stepped toward her, releasing a suffocating, murderous intent. The sheer pressure of the beast's aura forced the girl to her knees, her breath hitching in her throat. She closed her eyes, certain this was the end. "That's enough, tiger. Stay," Jin commanded. He walked over to the trembling girl and looked down at her. "Hand it over. The thing I actually want." Confused and terrified, she stammered, I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me," Jin said. "If you can control these puppets, you must have the Misra mask. Give it to me, now." Knowing she had no choice, she reached into her cloak and handed him an ancient, ornate mask. Jin took it, his eyes gleaming. This was a rare artifact. If he could find the other two pieces of the set, he could forge a high-level relic that would make him nearly untouchable. "My luck is holding up," Jin muttered. He turned to his spectral tiger. "Tiger, I'm heading to the top floor for the map. Stay here. Make sure no one, and I mean no one, follows me." Jin leaves his spectral tiger below. He knows the beast's murderous aura is enough to keep the crowd frozen in terror. He ascends to the top floor, moving like a shadow until he reaches the inner sanctum. There, he finds Master Li standing before a shimmering wall of energy, a Tuki array formation. Jin steps out of the darkness. "A Tuki array? I haven't seen one of these in years. They are incredibly rare. Do you have any idea how to break it, old man?" Master Li jumps, his heart nearly stopping. He stares at Jin, bewildered. "How did this boy get so close without me sensing a thing? Is he truly more powerful than me, or was that just luck?" Masking his shock, Master Li asks, "You seem to know a lot about arrays. Can you dismantle it?" Jin reaches out and touches the glowing barrier, injecting a small thread of his mana into the structure. His eyes widen. "I can feel it. I can't believe an artifact this precious is hidden right here." He turns to Master Li with a deceptive look. "I have a plan. If you use your fire magic to hold the formation open, I can slip inside and bring everything out. You can take whatever you want from the hall." Master Li hesitates. "Why should I trust a stranger?" Jin shrugs. "Do you have a better idea?" The old man calculates the risk. "This boy looks physically weak. If he tries anything, I can incinerate him in seconds." "Fine," Li growls. "I'll hold it. Move fast." Master Li unleashes his flames, slamming his power into the barrier. Cracks begin to spiderweb across the energy field. "Now, go!" Jin leaps through the opening, landing gracefully on the other side. Inside, the room is filled with relics, but Jin notices something is missing. A glass case is shattered, a legendary sword, famous for massive strength buffs, is gone. Someone else, another Awakener, was here before us, Jin thinks. But he doesn't care about the sword. He spots what he really came for, a pile of ancient gold coins. Jin smirks. "It's time to use the skill I kept secret even in the game." Jin possesses a unique ability called artifact synthesis. He can combine multiple low-level items to forge a high-rank masterpiece. He pulls out the Misra mask he took from the girl and extracts a glowing, magical thread from it. He then gathers the ancient coins and begins the process. A blinding golden light fills the room, the intensity so fierce that Jin has to shield his eyes. System notification, synthesis successful. You have created an S-rank artifact, the Eye of Truth. The system explains the power. With this eye, Jin can see the status window and level of any person. More importantly, he can detect if someone is lying. But the rewards don't stop there. System message. Hidden mission completed, the relic forger. Reward issued, memory of the world record. Suddenly, Jin is pulled into a void like space. The system begins upgrading his very essence, merging his consciousness with the history of the tower itself. His body begins to glow with an overwhelming aura as his skills evolve into something the world has never seen before. The blinding light starts to subside as the system's voice echoes directly into Jin's mind. System, your unique skill has been upgraded to SS rank. New ability, skill mimicry. You can now permanently copy the abilities of others, provided you fulfill specific hidden conditions. Jin clenches his fist. feeling the surge of raw power. Back in the game, he cleared 50 floors with grit and strategy, but in this new reality, being able to steal the powers of his enemies changes everything. Suddenly, Master Li's strained voice breaks his concentration. Jin, hurry up. I can't hold this barrier much longer. Get out of there before it collapses. Jin looks at the old man through the shimmering energy wall. A cold, calculating smile spreads across his face. Why not test my new toy right now? He activates the Eye of Truth. A translucent window floats before him, revealing the condition to copy Master Li's fire magic. Condition: unmask the target's true intentions. The target is currently masking their emotions toward you. HMPH, easy enough, Jin whispers. He turns to the old man and says casually, you don't need to struggle anymore, old man. Deactivate your fire. The barrier will stay open. Master Li is stunned. What are you talking about? If I let go, you'll be trapped. Just do it, Jin commands. Confused, Master Li cuts off his mana. To his absolute shock, the barrier remains wide open, frozen in place. He rushes inside, staring at Jin. What did you do? How is this possible? Jin glances at the camera, explaining it to us. When I first touched the barrier, I didn't just feel it. I rewrote its mana structure from the inside. I've been the one controlling the gate this entire time. The old man wasn't holding it open, I was just letting him think he was. He then picks up the ancient map, the primary artifact they came for. This map has the secrets of the first 10 floors, Jin says, looking at the parchment. But for me, it's trash. I've already conquered 50 floors. I know this world better than the people who built it. Then, Jin does something that makes Master Li's blood run cold. He pulls out a lighter and flicks it open. Wait, what are you doing? Li screams. I told you I didn't need the map, Jin says, his eyes dark. But I never said I'd let anyone else have it. He touches the flame to the parchment. In seconds, the only guide to the tower's lower floors turns to ash. Master Li's face turns purple with rage. You arrogant brat, do you have any idea what you've done? I'll burn you alive for this. System notification. Condition met. Target's true emotions revealed. Pure malice. Skill element of fire successfully copied. If you don't give me a reason not to kill you right now, Li snarls, his hands igniting. You're dead. Jin doesn't move. Instead, he raises his own hand. A pillar of white-hot flame erupts from his palm, far brighter and more intense than anything Master Li has ever produced. The old man staggers back, his eyes wide with terror. No, that's impossible. That's my skill. But your mana, your heat level, it's significantly higher than mine. Jin looks down at his flaming hand, then back at the trembling master. So, Jin asks, his voice dropping to a deadly whisper, do you still want that explanation? Or do you want to find out what happens when my fire meets yours? Master Li completely humbles himself, realization dawning on him that he is standing before a monster. Tell me, what do you want from me? The scene cuts to Jin walking calmly out of the museum. His mind is already several steps ahead. He isn't just a player anymore, he is a leader. He had identified 3 Awakeners inside that building, including Master Li and his student. Before leaving, Jin had delivered a cold ultimatum. Follow me, become my support. Right now, your levels are pathetic, but I will show you how to climb. Do as I say, and you live. Master Li, once an arrogant fire user, had looked at Jin's overwhelming power and bowed his head. If we refuse, he had asked, his voice trembling. Jin's response was simple. Then you die where you stand. Faced with a monster they couldn't hope to defeat, they had no choice but to agree. But Jin knows he can't rest. My stats are high, but my actual level is still too low. He reflects. If I run into a high-level boss, or a top-tier Awakener now, I'll be at a disadvantage. I need to grind, but even a legend has to eat. Jin walks into a crowded restaurant, the air thick with the smell of food and the sound of panicked whispers. Everyone is glued to the TV. A news reporter is speaking frantically. Reports are coming in from Korea, Japan, America, and China. Museums worldwide are being raided by Awakeners seeking artifacts. To maintain order, a global coalition has been formed, the World Awakener Association. The screen switches to a sharp-looking man with an intimidating presence. Mr. Khan, the president of the American branch. To all those who have awakened, Khan speaks into the camera, his eyes piercing. You must register with the association immediately. Those who hide their powers will be treated as threats to national security. However, For those who join us, the rewards are immense. An E-rank recruit starts at a monthly salary of $1 million. For high-level awakeners, we are talking billions. Jin stares at the screen, a smirk playing on his lips. He knows exactly what Khan is doing. Billions? He's not talking to the public, Jin realizes. He saw my video. He saw the second-grade beast. This isn't a press conference, it's a direct invitation to me. Despite the staggering offer, Jin isn't interested in being anyone's lapdog. I have no intention of joining their little club, but his eyes flash with a devilish glint. I might want to meet this Mr. Khan face to face eventually. As night falls on the real world, the sun rises in the digital one. In this new reality, when the earth goes dark, the Tower of Trials awakens. Jin prepares himself. The next scene shows a magnificent, ethereal landscape as thousands of people begin to teleport into the tower's starting zone. Among the confused and terrified crowd, Jin stands calm and composed. System notification. Welcome, pioneers. To assist your journey, 1,000 gold coins have been granted to every participant. This currency is valid only within the tower. System message. Creators, take note. You may record your battles or your travels. For every 10,000 views on the tower network, you will receive 100 bonus gold coins. Jin looks around at the beautiful, sprawling world, a place he called home for 11 years. The others are looking at the gold coins like they've won the lottery. But Jin is looking at the horizon. He knows that the beauty of the tower is just a mask for the slaughter that is about to begin. The system's voice booms across the starting zone, clarifying the rules of this new world. System notification. Live streaming is restricted. To earn gold coins through broadcasts, you must engage in combat with a boss grade or high-tier monster. Only then will rewards be issued based on your viewership. The crowd erupts and cheers, blinded by the promise of wealth and fame. But Jin stands among them with a grim expression. He sees the truth they are ignoring. In the game, death was a minor inconvenience, you simply respond. But in this reality, if you die in the tower, you are erased from existence. Look at them, Jin mutters, watching people sprint toward the horizon. Cameras at the ready. They're running toward their graves. They have no idea how brutal this place truly is. Jin turns away from the crowd. He has a much more specific goal. He recalls his struggle from 6 years ago. After reaching floor 34, his progress had stalled completely. No matter how much he fought, his stats wouldn't budge. After months of research, he found the secret. Hidden stat points. These points don't show up in your standard level, but they exponentially increase your raw power. There was only one catch to earn them. You had to clear specific hidden dungeons while remaining at level 1. Back then, Jin was so determined that he deleted his high-level character just to start over and claim these points. It was a heartbreaking decision. But it's the reason he is now the most dangerous man in the tower. I've kept myself at level 1 for this exact moment, Jin says. It's time to claim the foundation of my power. He arrives at a secluded, ancient building, the Library of Memories. He discovered this place years ago, and to his relief, it remains untouched. He approaches the massive stone doors, hesitating for a moment before entering a complex password into the archaic mechanism. The gears groan, and the doors slowly swing open. Jin makes a disgusted face. I never thought I'd have to step foot in this hellhole again, he sighs. As he enters, the atmosphere shifts. The library is filled with thousands of glowing, ethereal butterflies made of pure energy. One of them flutters down, landing gently on Jin's finger. But the peaceful moment is shattered by the sound of footsteps behind him. Jin spins around to find a group of 5 people standing in the doorway. Who are you? He demands. Were you following me? A young woman steps forward, a forced smile on her face. We were just looking for a quiet place to hide and rest, she claims. We saw the library and thought it looked safe. But the truth is much darker. A flashback reveals that this group had been tracking Jin for the last 10 minutes. They saw him bypass the security without a key. He knew the password. One of the men had whispered outside, there must be a legendary treasure inside, something he's kept secret. The group's leader, a cold-eyed woman named Park Hana, had made the call. He's just a level 1 warrior. If there's treasure, we wait until he finds it. Then we kill him and take it for ourselves. Back in the present, Park Hana bows slightly. My name is Park Hana, she says smoothly, masking her murderous intent. Since we're all here, why don't we explore this library together? It's much safer to work as a team, don't you think? Jin looks at her. Then at the others, with his eye of truth and years of experience, he can see right through their teamwork proposal. He knows exactly what they are planning. Park Hannah stands before Jin with a practiced, innocent smile. She is 22 years old, and on the surface, she looks like a harmless level 1 warrior. But Jin's eye of truth reveals her hidden skill, absolute community. It's a terrifyingly passive ability that forces even enemies to feel a sense of trust and friendliness toward her, making it impossible for them to strike her. System notification. Skill mimicry condition. To copy absolute community, you must cooperate with Park Hannah for 240 hours. Jin scoffs internally. He remembers the boss of this library from his past life, a monster so fierce it nearly killed him. Can this girl's charm skill actually help me survive the monster this time? He wonders. As the other members of Hannah's group introduce themselves, Jin puts on his own mask, pretending to be the naive rookie they think he is. Fine, he says, we can work together. Hannah immediately moves closer, grabbing Jin's hand. She activates absolute community. Suddenly, Jin's heart begins to race, and a wave of warmth and affection for her washes over him. For a second, his guard drops. What is this? He panics, shaking his head. Why am I feeling so drawn to her? This is dangerous. He abruptly pulls his hand away, stepping back. Keep your distance, please, he says coldly. Hannah is stunned. My skill failed, she thinks, her eyes narrowing. That's impossible. No one has ever resisted my aura at such a close range. Who is this guy? Jin ignores her confusion and looks at the shifting shadows of the library. You said you wanted to share the danger. Tell me, do any of you actually know the difficulty level of this place? The group looks at each other blankly. They have no idea. And do you even realize, Jin adds, his voice dropping to a whisper, that it's already time for the library to change before they can ask what he means? The floor begins to vibrate. The elegant bookshelves start to groan and shift like massive wooden limbs. The peaceful atmosphere vanishes as the walls themselves begin to sprout sharp, jagged protrusions. The exit? Where is the exit? Hannah screams to one of her teammates, a scout. The girl closes her eyes, trying to sense a way out, but her face turns pale. I can't feel it. It's like the exit has been erased. There's nothing but walls. Panic sets in. The group scrambles as a wall suddenly surges forward like a piston, nearly crushing Hannah. Jin watches them with cold detachment. They're even weaker than I thought. They came here to scavenge, but they've walked into a meat grinder. Hannah turns her fear into anger, pointing an accusing finger at Jin. You knew everything about this library. Why didn't you warn us? Were you trying to lead us to our deaths? The other men in the group draw their weapons, surrounding Jin. Answer her, you bastard. You set us up. Jin's expression shifts from calm to lethal. Know your place, he growls, his voice echoing through the shifting halls. Did I invite you here? Did I ask you to follow me? You followed me like rats because you were greedy for treasure. If you're going to die, it's because of your own stupidity, not me. Hannah freezes. He knew we were following him the whole time, and he didn't care. One of the men, fueled by terror and rage, raises his sword. I don't care who he is. This punk is going to pay. I'm ending this right now. Die, you arrogant brat. He lunges, but before his blade can even reach Jin, a flash of cold steel whistles through the air. In the blink of an eye, the man's head is severed from his shoulders. His body hits the floor before his brain can even process what happened. Standing behind the corpse is a nightmare brought to life, a massive, hulking minotaur boss, wielding a gargantuan axe that drips with fresh blood. The group freezes. A boss? Here? On the first floor? Jin doesn't wait for them to stop screaming. He sprints toward the monster. Get out of my way, you amateurs. Hannah watches in disbelief. Is he insane? He's running toward it. The minotaur roars, bringing its axe down in a strike that shatters the stone floor. Dust and debris explode everywhere. The group waits for the dust to settle, certain that Jin has been crushed into paste. But as the air clears, they see him high in the air. He had leaped at the exact microsecond of impact. A small scratch bleeds on Jin's shoulder, but a blue window flickers before his eyes. System: you have successfully dodged a lethal strike from a high-tier boss. Reward: +1 hidden stat point. Jin smirks as he begins his descent. Finally, the grind begins. He grabs the Minotaur's massive horns mid-air. swinging his body like a gymnast to land gracefully behind the beast. The monster turns, enraged, and swings again. Jin moves like water, leaning, sliding, and pivoting. System: dodge successful. Reward: +0. The 5 hidden stat points. System: dodge successful. Reward: +0. So 5 hidden stat points. Notification after notification floods Jin's vision. To Hana and her followers, it looks like a dance. They are watching a level 1 player toy with a creature that should have wiped them out in seconds. Is this a dream? One of them stammers. He's only level 1. How can he read the movements of a boss? He must be hiding his true level. There's no other way. Hana clenches her fists, her face pale with regret. I'm the fool, she thinks. I thought he was prey we could hunt for treasure. If I had known he was this powerful, I never would have crossed him. Now, we're trapped in here with 2 monsters. Jin, however, isn't thinking about them. He's focused on the math of the tower. In my past life, I died hundreds of thousands of times to this exact boss. I know every twitch of its muscles. I know when it breathes, when it blinks, and exactly where its axe will land. But 0. So 5 points isn't enough. He needs more. The Minotaur raises its axe for a devastating overhead cleave. This time, Jin doesn't jump away. He stands perfectly still. The group screams as the giant blade rushes toward Jin's neck. It's inches away, centimeters, when Jin whispers to himself. The higher the risk of death, the greater the reward. At the very last millisecond, the blade grazes his skin, drawing a thin line of blood on his throat. He dodges by a hair's breadth. System notification: critical life-threatening dodge recorded. The notification box flickers a bright neon blue. System: you have successfully dodged a lethal strike. Reward: +1 hidden stat point. Blood trickled down Jin's neck from the shallow cut. But he didn't look pained, he looked ecstatic. A whole stat point for a tiny scratch. This is a masterpiece of a trade, he whispered. However, he wasn't reckless. He knew that if he pushed his luck too far while exhausted, that axe wouldn't just graze him next time, it would end him. I need to withdraw for now and recover. I can't keep this rhythm up forever. He glanced toward the shadows where Hana and her remaining team were trying to sneak away. Sister, please, get us out of here. I don't want to die. One of the girls, Annie's, sobbed. Hana was trying to lead them toward a dark corridor when Jin suddenly appeared behind them like a ghost. Going somewhere? Jin asked, his voice chillingly calm. Hana jumped, her heart nearly stopping. You? If you're here, then who is holding off the boss? She looked past Jin's shoulder, and her blood turned to ice. The Minotaur was stomping toward them, its eyes glowing with murderous fury. Jin smirked at her. Why don't you join the fight? It'll boost your levels, and I promise you'll find it exhilarating. The Minotaur roared and swung its massive axe in a wide, horizontal arc. Jin reacted in a split second, grabbing Hana and lunging to the side. But the others weren't fast enough. The heavy blade tore through the air, obliterating the glasses-wearing boy and Annie's instantly. The impact was so violent that the surrounding stone walls shattered into dust. Dust and silence followed, broken only by the heavy breathing of the 3 survivors: Jin, Hana, and one terrified boy. Hana collapsed to her knees, staring at the spot where her friends had been erased. Jin turned to the monster. Hey, big guy, you look tired. Why don't you take a break, and I'll head out? The library groaned again. The shifting walls began to slide into place, creating a massive stone barrier between Jin and the Minotaur. Catch you later. Get some rest. Jin waved mockingly as the wall slammed shut. On the other side, the muffled sound of the beast's frustrated roars and the heavy thuds of its axe hitting the stone echoed through the hall. Hana and the surviving boy were trembling uncontrollably. Everyone is dead. We're the only ones left. How are we ever going to get out? Jin ignored their crying. He walked over to a discarded dagger on the floor, picking it up and testing the edge. Not bad. This will do. He pointed the blade toward them. Listen closely. I'm staying here for a month to grind my state points and recover my mana. If you want to live, you're going to be my scouts. When I rest, you watch the perimeter for that monster. In exchange, I'll keep you alive. A month? Hana shrieked. We're leaving. The monster is trapped behind that wall. We can find our own way out. Jin leaned in, a dark look in his eyes. Remember the butterflies? I touched one, and now that scent is on me and on you. That Minotaur can track that smell through miles of solid rock. You leave my side, and he will hunt you down within the hour. You stay with me, you might live. You go out there alone? You're just a snack." Hana looked at the dark hallway, then back at the man who was smiling in the middle of a nightmare. She realized they weren't his partners, they were his tools. "Fine," Hana whispered, her voice trembling. "We'll do whatever you say." "Wait, I'm not finished," Jin told them. "If a guest stays at a house for even one night, they pay rent. You're going to be under my protection for an entire month. Don't you think it's only fair that you pay for that security?" Jin pointed his dagger at them, the cold steel reflecting the fear in their eyes. "Hand over every single gold coin you have, right now." While Jin was securing his rent, something else was happening on the global network. A video was exploding, hitting 1.2 million views in mere hours. It showed a warrior cutting through a massive horde of monsters with impossible grace. The comments were going wild, but it was a lie. In a small room, two guys were laughing at their screens. One was a fake fighter, the other a pro editor. They had used green screens and high-level editing to fake the entire thing just to farm views and coins. "Why risk our lives fighting goblins when we can make millions from a fake video?" the editor mocked. But his laughter died when he checked the rankings. They were falling fast. A new video had appeared at the top with 1.3 million views and climbing. The thumbnail showed a weapon radiating a divine, golden light. The title read, "The first S-rank reinforcement dagger." The internet was melting down. People were screaming that it was impossible to craft equipment of that grade so early in the game. The hoaxers realized that while they were playing with special effects, Jin had just created a real miracle. 10 minutes earlier, Jin had sent Hana and the boy away to scavenge for supplies. He didn't care about their anger. He had work to do. "System, open the store," Jin commanded. He had 5,000 gold coins to spend. Jin started buying items that any other player would call trash. 3 F-rank magic cards, an old E-rank key, and a piece of D-rank ancient wood. To a fool, these were useless. To Jin, they were the ingredients for a masterpiece. Jin activated his artifact synthesis. Combining the cards, the wood, and the key, a blinding golden light erupted in his palms. "Synthesis successful," the system chimed. Jin had created an S-rank item, the Golden Charm. This charm was the key. It granted 100% luck for a single minute. Jin immediately activated it and pulled out his dagger along with 10 reinforcement scrolls. Usually, reinforcing a weapon is a massive gamble. It fails almost every time. But with 100% luck, failure didn't exist for Jin. Success, success. One by one, the scrolls melted into the blade. The dagger began to hum, its edge glowing with a lethal, golden aura. "Congratulations," the system echoed. "You are the first person to craft equipment of this grade. Reward, 5,000 gold coins." Jin gripped the hilt. At level 1, he was now holding a weapon capable of slaying gods. Jin looked at the glowing blade and whispered, "Now, the real hunt begins." When Jin held the S-rank reinforced dagger in his hand, its golden glow was mesmerizing. "Finally," Jin whispered, testing the weight of the blade, "something truly worthy of my hands. This weapon is magnificent." The scene jumps forward 10 days. The library has become a tomb of exhaustion for Hana and the surviving boy. They look miserable, huddled around a small, flickering fire, chewing on raw, bitter mushrooms just to stay alive. They have been trapped here for over a week, living a cycle of terror. Every day, Jin goes out to hunt the Minotaur boss. Every day, he drags Hana and the boy along to serve as his eyes and ears. They have nearly died a dozen times, caught in the crossfire of a battle they can barely perceive. "How is he doing this?" Hana muttered, watching Jin's silhouette in the distance. "We can't even see the boss's movements, yet he dodges every strike like it's a game. He isn't just surviving, he's getting stronger with every passing hour." Hana was secretly using a communication device to message her guild. "Did you tell my brother?" she typed frantically. "Where are the rescue teams?" The reply was chilling. "We told him, but we can't find you. We've scanned the coordinates you sent 100 times, but the library's location is shifting. It could take us 3 to 4 weeks to pinpoint your entrance." Hana's heart sank. 3 to 4 weeks? Jin told us we're staying for a month. There's no difference. We're stuck with this monster of a man until he decides to let us go. While Hana was drowning in despair, the boy with her reached his breaking point. Driven mad by hunger and fear, he picked up a jagged stone, his eyes fixed on Jin's back. He began to creep forward, ready to strike Jin while he was occupied with the boss. But Jin didn't even turn around. He was busy. Jin activated the power of his reinforced dagger. In a blur of golden light, he moved with godlike speed, landing a dozen precision cuts on the Minotaur's thick hide before the beast could even blink. The Minotaur roared, its breath smelling of death. "You think these tiny scratches can kill me, human?" The beast pulled back its fist, condensing a massive amount of mana into a single, world-shattering punch. The boy with the stone froze. The sheer pressure of the attack was enough to crush his lungs. But just as the Minotaur's fist was inches from Jin's face, it stopped. The beast stood frozen, its muscles locking up like stone. "What? What is this? Why can't I move?" the boss bellowed. Jin calmly wiped the blood off his cheek. "Did you forget? Your 5 minutes are up." The Minotaur's eyes widened in terror. "How do you know about that?" "I know everything about you," Jin said coldly. "Your skill gives you overwhelming power, but only for 5 minutes. The side effect is total paralysis. You won't be able to move a single muscle for the next 24 hours. Jin walked past the frozen monster, completely ignoring the boy who was still holding the stone behind him. He opened his system window to check his progress. "My total hidden stat points have reached 57, Jin noted, a satisfied smirk crossing his face. "In just 10 days, I've gained more raw power than most players gain in a year." As Jin looked at the system panel glowing before his eyes, he couldn't hide his satisfaction. "In just 10 days, I've managed to rack up 57 hidden stat points. I have 20 days left, and in that time, I must push them to 100. Hana approached him, her voice trembling. Is it over? Is it dead?" Jin looked at the paralyzed monster and gave a cold laugh. "Over? It's just starting. This monster won't be able to move for the next 24 hours. But the moment that time is up, it will hunt us again. It will attack us again." Hana's face went pale. "You mean we still have to suffer through this?" Jin smiled. "Why are you so worried? It's only 20 days more. I told you from the start we are staying here for a full month." The scene fast-forwards 20 days later. The library is a total ruin. Jin and the boss monster are still locked in their dance of death. The Minotaur unleashes a devastating strike, but Jin dodges it as effortlessly as if it were a light breeze. System notification: you have received 15 hidden stat points. The monster lashes out again and again, but to Jin, these attacks now feel like they are moving in slow motion. Suddenly, a massive notification fills his vision. "Congratulations! Your hidden stat points have reached 100. Finally, 100 points. Jin breathed a sigh of relief. "I don't need to stay here a second longer." The monster, consumed by rage, charged at Jin one last time. But this time, Jin didn't dodge. He clenched his fist and delivered a powerful upward punch right under the monster's chin. That single, light punch carried so much force that the massive beast was sent flying across the room. Jin stood over the fallen monster and spoke with effortless style. "You've been a great help to my training, so I won't kill you. I'm leaving now. Maybe we'll meet again." Jin then turned to Hana. "Oh, I think it's time for your interview." Hana was stunned. "Interview? For what?" "I'm starting my own company, and I'm giving you a job. You're going to work for me." Hana stammered. "What? You're starting a company?" Anger flashed in Jin's eyes. "Are you saying you aren't interested? That you won't join my company?" Hana shook with fear and quickly blurted out, No, you've got it wrong. It was always my dream to work in a company. I only joined this guild because I was forced to." Jin smirked. "I think I've found a very useful person for my business." He stepped closer to Hana. "Tell me, what benefit can you bring to my company?" Hana stuttered. I can help increase the company's popularity. My community skill will be very useful for that." "No, I don't need that. Tell me something else," Jin said flatly. "I will never betray you. I'll follow every order you give," Hana cried out. Jin kept walking toward her. "No, not that either. Something else. Please, give me time to think. Hana begged. Jin stood right in front of her, his voice dropping to a deadly whisper. Hana, you're a real disappointment. I don't think you belong in my company. You should just... Thinking her life was about to end, Hana shrieked in desperation. Wait, I remembered something. I can get you the Brahmin ring. She threw herself at Jin's feet, clutching his legs. Please forgive me. I'm not lying. My brother told me it's an incredibly important ring. He's planning to sell it to the Chinese for millions very soon, but I'll steal it and give it to you instead. Jin paused. The Brahmin ring? He knew that artifact. It was legendary, granting the wearer massive boosts to strength, speed, and overall ability. It could even lock down the magic power of the strongest monsters. And there was one more secret use for the ring that the world didn't know yet. Jin activated his Eye of Truth. Hana was telling the truth. Jin patted her head and smiled. Finally, you are now a member of my company. But remember, if I call you at 3 a.m. because the company needs you, you show up. Even if you're in the middle of important guild work, you drop everything for me. When Hana heard about the contract, she expected a simple piece of paper to sign. But Jin had a much darker method in mind. He activated both his commune and element of fire skills, merging them together in a swirl of intense heat and mana. System notification, skills successfully combined. New skill, Brand of Tribulation rank A. Jin looked at the glowing, searing mark in his hand. This skill is truly hot, he whispered. He grabbed Hana by the face, his fingers burning into her skin. Congratulations on joining our black company, Hana. The library echoed with her agonized screams as the permanent mark of ownership was seared onto her soul. Finally, Jin and Hana stepped out of the library and back into the real world. Hana collapsed onto the grass, sobbing with relief. Finally, we survived that hell. Suddenly, a system message appeared for both of them. Congratulations. You are the first pioneers to clear the library. Reward, 5,000 gold coins. Hana's eyes lit up with joy for a split second before Jin stood over her, his shadow looming large. Smile later. Now, transfer all your gold coins to me. Traumatized and broken, Hana had no choice. She transferred everything. Jin now sat on a massive hoard of 10,000 gold coins. I want the Brahmin ring within 3 days, Jin commanded. 3 days? That's impossible, Hana cried. Jin simply activated the Brand of Tribulation. Immediately, the mark on Hana's face began to burn with such intensity that she fell to the ground, screaming in pain. Okay, I'll get it in 3 days. Just stop. Back in his room, Jin realized that the world had changed drastically in just 1 month. New guilds had risen, and powerful players were surfacing everywhere. To stay ahead, Jin knew he couldn't do this alone. He needed loyal allies he could trust. He thought back to his gaming days 11 years ago, to his old comrades who were once the most feared players in the tower. He opened the Hunter Association app and began tracking them down. Soon, Jin found himself sitting in a restaurant across from 2 people. One was a young man named Lee Tiemann, gaming ID, Human Belt, and the other was a woman named HWA gaming ID, Nuclear Fist. Looking at them, Jin reminisced about how terrifying they used to be. HWA was famous for killing a high-level beast with a single punch, and Lee Tiemann was a master of fire bombs and pyrotechnics. Jin activated his Eye of Truth to check Lee Tiemann's status. Name, Lee Tiemann, vertical bar age, 23 vertical bar level, 11 vertical bar special ability, Machine King, Jin noted. It was a rare, god-tier skill that provided absolute knowledge over any machinery. Whether it was repairing a broken device or hacking a complex system, a Machine King was unstoppable. The pieces were falling into place. Jin had the gear, the stats, and now he was assembling the ultimate team. Jin turned his gaze to HWA. He activated his Eye of Truth, and her status window materialized in the air. Name, HWA vertical bar age, 25 vertical bar level, 12 vertical bar special ability. Nuclear Fist, she was a martial arts fanatic. Her nuclear fist wasn't just a name, it was a devastating close combat skill that turned her hands into weapons of mass destruction. Jin checked the copy conditions. Copy condition: complete 20 floors of the Tower of Trials alongside the targets. Since they were his old friends, the system required shared battle experience. Jin smirked. He was already planning their climb. "Hey," Lee Tiemann broke the silence, leaning forward. "We've told you everything about us, but you're still a mystery. You going to share or what?" Jin leaned back, his expression unreadable. "My name is Jin. I'm 27. Until recently, I was just a live streamer."
This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.